And there are names that we are told and others that were kept. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has many names. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing really like Him. Nothing at all. None of His creature. And the same thing for His attributes. And in this aspect, we're talking about believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With regards to His names and attributes, we have lots of disturbance and discrepancies amongst Muslims. A lot of that, unfortunately. Because after the first few generations, Muslims started to, when they conquered lots of lands, they started to read other people's books, and without knowing, and sometimes out of arrogance, sometimes because they were misled deliberately by people, they started going and philosophizing things. And for example, they try to what we call ta'weel. And ta'weel means that you give the meaning of something that is clear or something that is beyond the letters, and you bring a word and you give it a meaning that is not clear, not direct in its apparent letters. We call this ta'weel. And of course, not all ta'weel is wrong. Some of it we call it tahrif, and this is all wrong. But ta'weel, sometimes ta'weel is good, sometimes it's bad. But when it comes to Allah's names and attributes, we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has names and attributes, and these names are only for Him, and even by appearance they seem to be like other names, but still in fact they do not. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Ra'ufur Rahim, bil mu'minina Ra'ufur Rahim. So obviously we know that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Ra'uf and Rahim, merciful and fair. Now the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is merciful, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the merciful. So obviously they both have mercy. But can we say that they are the same? No way. No way. Of course, the difference between name and attribute is that any name has an attribute within it. I mean, if we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the merciful, it means He has mercy. It goes without saying. Because the name has the attribute within it, while the attribute doesn't have to be derived from a name. It doesn't have to be derived from a name, and you can't always derive a name from it. So that's the word. But a name always has an attribute into it. When you say the merciful, it means Allah has mercy. When you say, for example, the knowledgeable, it means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge. The all-seeing means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sight, and so on. So any name contains an attribute, but not all attributes are derived from the names, and not all attributes we can derive names from. Because the names are what we call tawqifiyya, they need to follow certain rules. We cannot just call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala any name that comes to mind. Many people had a problem with this, because as I said, we have this problem with ta'weel, or in fact we call it tahrif. Tahrif, which means that they take the real meaning and they try to twist it. So they fall into the trap of two things. Then they devalidate the meaning of the word which was meant by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then they twist the real meaning. They twist it and give it another meaning that means that they apply an attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they do not have any proof for. Example, when we say Ar-Rahman ala al-Arsh istawa, for all salaf, they say istawa means to come over or above, to come over. And in Arabic, in fact, the preposition ala, anything followed by ala means that you are on it. On it means that you are above it, so you rose above it. So Ar-Rahman ala al-Arsh istawa means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came over or on the Arsh, the throne. Now, how? This is the question that we should not be asking. And once it happened with Imam Malik rahimahullah, someone came to him and he said that Ar-Rahman al-Arsh istawa. How did he come on over the throne? And then Imam Malik rahimahullah, he started to sweat, and then he came silent for a while, and then started saying that istiwa, that Allah coming on the throne is known. It's not something that is unknown, but we do not have. But and the kayf and how, but the how is unknown to us. And asking about it is bid'ah, innovation. You cannot ask, and I think you are just an innovator, and you are a bad man, and he asks people to take him out of the masjid. So, for salaf, these names, for example, ayn, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has an eye. So for many people say, ayn is just, a symbol of sight. Allah doesn't really have an eye, but He has sight. And some people say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all seeing, but He does not even have sight. So we have lots of trouble with that. That's why when it comes to Allah's names and attributes, we should be most careful. We do not just follow whatever we think. We should follow the scholars. We should follow the scholars with that, and especially with the matter of names and attributes, we must be most careful, because you don't know how it comes to you, and then you are completely deviated from the right path. Generally, general rule is for this kind of names, we just leave them as they are. We just leave them as they are. We do not ask how, because how can you ask how about someone you do not know? For example, I tell you, what do you think of, say, a car, for example, say Lamborghini, and you've never seen Lamborghini before, you've never heard about Lamborghini before, and you say, how can I tell you? Why are you asking me? So this is something that you can learn about. I mean, you can go and read about it and see the pictures and everything, and still you say, why are you asking me? How can you ask me about something that I do not know? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we know that we cannot fully know anyway. We cannot know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because He is beyond our minds, beyond our brains. We know what He tells us, and we know what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells us about Him. Apart from that, we do not know. We cannot just bring things and say this is Allah. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He's perfect in every aspect, and He has all the perfect attributes. This is what we know. Anything that has proof, evidence, we accept it. Anything that does not have proof, we reject it. And that's it. Again, we need to be very careful with names and attributes, and we need to read, probably, we have a few books about that if you want to go deep into it, but have to be very careful. If you do not have good foundation of aqidah, you shouldn't really go there. You shouldn't really go there, because some people, it's in human nature. Sometimes Satan, Shaitan can take the best of you, and then you try philosophize things and how and how not and so on. So if you do not really have good foundation, you shouldn't really go deep into these things unless you are probably founded in aqidah, and then you go. Probably one of the good books is by Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, about qaida fi al-asma' wa sifat, about a rule in names and attributes. A very direct, simple, and very well praised book. So this is the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To believe that He exists, to believe that He is the Lord of the universe, to believe that He is the only God to be worshipped, and to believe that He has names and attributes, and these names and attributes are specific for Him, and there is nothing really like Him at all. So this is belief in Allah. Now we move next, al-iman billah, and then wa malaikatihi. We believe in Allah, and His angels. Why angels? Why not, for example, messengers after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or books? Because angels is a completely unseen world. We could not possibly know about it unless the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam had told us about it. Because we do not see angels, we just believe they exist. We believe that they are created from light, from nur. We believe that they do not really have a will of their own. They do not commit sins. They only do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders them. So we believe that they exist, and we should believe that some of them have names. The ones that we are told about their names, we need to believe about them. Of course, if you know, if you happen to know. If you don't know, it's not your problem. You should learn, but it's not a must for you to learn all the names of the angels. For example, if you did not know that the angel of fire, of hellfire, is Malik, it's okay. It does not really break your aqidah. It's just you need to learn more about your aqidah, that's it. But it does not take you anyway from Islam. But if you know, if you will hear the hadith that, for example, Malik in the Quran, it's mentioned Malik is the angel responsible for hellfire. Jibril, Gabriel, for example, he is responsible for revelation. He takes revelation to messengers and other creatures, other people. And we know that, for example, Israfil, he is the one to blow the horn, and so that everyone would die, and then he blows the horn again, and then everyone rises from the dead after the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we know the names of these, and we have the names of others as well, Mikael and others. Yeah, of course we have a common mistake here. People think that the angel of death, or they call him Israel. Even I read some books, some schools they teach. They say Israel is the angel of death. In fact, there is no proof whatsoever that the name of the angel of death is Israel at all. So we shouldn't be making this mistake at all. The angel of death is just the angel of death. We do not know the name of this angel or angels of death, and so on. So we believe in their names if they are mentioned in Quran or Sunnah, and we believe in their functions. We believe that they are responsible for some angels are responsible, as we said, for revelation. For example, Gabriel. Some are responsible for